Your boy is back in New Jersey. And as you can see, there's snow everywhere. You can see it right there. Literally, as soon as I got out of the airport, I was just hit with snow and ice and effed up roads. I thought it was gonna be better here. No, definitely not. Got my Tim Hortons in the cut. I went to Wawa, I got all that out the way, but I'm not eating the food out here, you know what I'm saying? Texas still got better food, in my opinion. But anyway, I want to talk to you guys about the situation with New York. As a worker, just in general, working out in New York, I just would not want to live there. But especially as a remote or hybrid worker, because now I have so much anxiety, on going back into the office and dealing with the congestion pricing. Now I can't even drive my car without getting charged, or the MTA prices are going up. Apparently, too, food prices are going up. I just saw a video on firefighters asking for exemptions, food suppliers asking for exemptions. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, why would y'all want to live in a city like this? And, for me, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that people are going to know right away, because sometimes things aren't so obvious to others, but over the years, you could just see everyone leaving New York and moving to places like Florida, Texas, like me, just getting the fuck up out of there. And I understand why they're doing this, because it's all money based. But I just think from your perspective, the remote worker, the hybrid worker, or even a regular worker, you should be outraged and you should be making an exit strategy to get out of there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, guys, we're going to do a deep dive into this. I'm going to be going to a coffee shop at some point during the week, so we'll break it down a little bit more. Right now, I'm just at my family's house, and I'm going to go visit my other family down in Atlantic City. I'm closer to like Philly right now, but in a safer area. This week is super exciting, man. I'm just really thankful to be here. It sucked getting here because I had to, that's a whole different situation. I'll have to make a separate video on that. But just to be back with my family, just to be back with my friends, it means everything to me. But yeah, there's a reason why I moved, It's a big reason, and it's definitely because of this weather. Like, I'm not fucking with it at all. I was literally getting 50-degree, 60-degree weather, and then as soon as I touched down with the rental, you see me in the Bronco, you know what I'm saying? And then it just hits, man. But this Bronco is actually really good. I should do car reviews in the future because I've had a couple rentals now. This Bronco 2023 is fantastic. I'm loving it, and I highly encourage you guys to try it out. I see this car all the time in my garage in Dallas, and I'm like, yo, I really want to drive this car. So I guess dreams come true. But all right, I will follow up with you guys in a second. As you guys can see, I am back in the crib, and I am about to show you guys some articles, some information here that can help. I'm going to kind of show both sides, the pros and the cons. Honestly, it's mainly cons. Like, who wants this? But according to Reddit, some people do. So let's get right into it. So let's start with this user right here. So he says, I lived in New York for 23 years and now live in the suburbs of New York, and I think congestion pricing is an amazing idea. The amount of traffic and unnecessary cars is insane, sticky to everyone. Things cost money. Nothing is free. If you can't afford to pay $9, then get lost. Now, I actually somewhat agree with him in the sense that I made this point on my Instagram Reels. So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, do that as well. Basically, it's not for the middle class. New York is not for the middle class. They want rich people to live there, just like LA. And if you can't afford to live there, I don't think you should. And I'm not saying that from an ignorant standpoint. I'm saying that from someone who grew up poor and built myself up and moved from New Jersey to Dallas. Okay. New Jersey, South Jersey, Philly area to Dallas. And I also lived in North Jersey too, closer to New York. So the prices are ridiculous. The weather is horrible. The people are horrible. The culture is trash. I mean, that's how I feel. So I made a decision to leave, and it was a tough decision because you leave your family behind. But when you have money and you can travel, then you do that. You go see your family and you travel with your friends. So I don't think it's a place for the middle class. I don't think it's a place for blue collar workers at all. They treat them like shit, to be honest. So that's how I feel about it. But I kind of agree with his point. Like, I don't think that we should be prioritizing living in cities like New York or LA or Chicago, you know? But hey, you can blame leadership, you can blame others, but you also have to look yourself in the mirror and say, what am I doing for my future? Am I setting myself up to be successful in the future? But yeah. All right, so this other user, he says you are all gonna look really dumb when you realize this tax is gonna go straight into the MTA's overtime and brass pocketbooks. Meanwhile, there is no written or even imagined plan to capture or contain the mentally ill people that terrorize the subway on a daily basis. So effectively, pay more for the same shit and potentially dangerous service. Now, this is what I'm talking about right here. I believe if you're going to try to promote people to, stop driving into the city on certain streets, you should start with the subway because New York has one of the greatest transportation systems in the world, but it's so dangerous, it's so dirty, it's so dusty. Like nobody wants to ride that. My friend who actually has family in New York, I met up with him yesterday. He told me he fears every day for his mom, because she has to take the MTA all the time. So as you can see right here, this was 6 days ago. A lot of people, a lot of locals feel this way. And we're going to touch on this in a sec, but there's people that actually, commute from New Jersey to New York. And I hate that dynamic. I hate that we have these two different states with all these different laws. And now they're coming up with their own congestion price and reverse system. And they're talking about, oh, we should have got a piece of the pie. Like, there's so many financial incentives that go into this, but it's never in favor of, the lower class. So this is another way that you're getting screwed because now you're being forced to go on this unsafe subway. So, let's read this real quick. This person responded, "Thank you. On the subway rides today, I encountered one mentally ill, sad looking slash sort of scary person. 5 train, one homeless person smoking weed on the train and getting aggressive with folks, and one mentally ill slash disturbed, dangerous looking person on the 6 train. That's all in an hour, 1 hour, and doesn't count the 3 people who jumped the turnstiles. Yeah, people do that all the time. I have friends that did that. Especially when I was in college, they were trying to tell me to do it. I was the one friend like, come on, guys, it's cheap. I'll pay the train fare. But for some people, it's like they want to just go to work, get the work done, go back home. They don't want to get in trouble. That's how I am mainly, and people just abuse the system. But the reason why people jump the turnstiles is because the fares are apparently increasing as well. And it's a shitty ass environment. So it's like, hey, I could do what I want. Cops don't really enforce it anyway. Let's see here. So leaving off where I read, that's all in an hour, and that doesn't count the 3 people who jumped the turnstile and the 2 women illegally selling sweets in 2 different places. I mean, I don't know. I'm on my business when it comes to that part, but blocking paths with their babies in tow. So yes, your congestion charge could build the world's best system, but until the rest of this is fixed, some of which out of MTA's hands, I realize it could still lobby for change. Then none of it matters. You know what I mean? Oh, there's another user real quick. This person said the biggest supporters of CP doesn't care about better transit. Mm. They only want less cars. They only want less cars, but they don't care about better transit. So it's a selfish, extremely greedy way to bring in more money. And yes, could that help New York? Sure, but they're not going to use it to better the city for the locals. You see the theme going on here? They only want to spend less on cars. There have been multiple posts on the Micro Mobility New York City sub that spells this out. Less cars, they don't care who you are, and more bike lanes. Literally, their only 2 goals in life. Incredibly sad. So, this is look. I somewhat like the idea of having a city where you don't have to use a car and your car could be used for, traveling, if you want to do road trips or for emergency services and whatnot. I think cars should be used because unfortunately we live in the 21st century and it is what it is. So, but again, why would you not fix the main issue with the transportation system? And then now you're forcing people to take the transit that they don't want to take or they can't take or they can't afford to take now, or they just don't have time to do it to go on the train. if they're commuting from New Jersey or commuting in certain parts of New York and different boroughs. Um, it's a backwards way of thinking, to be honest. Like this could have been something they implemented in the future and less streets, but yeah. So, I've been doing a little research. The mayors were trying to propose this reverse congestion pricing toll, which is crazy. So that's going on in New Jersey. You got this website talking about the pros and the cons. Here's one part of the article: congestion pricing is unconstitutional. In some cases, opponents of this type of traffic engineering have gone so far as to question its legality. New York City's Metropolitan Transportation Authority is now facing a lawsuit from New Jersey claiming that its current plan for congestion pricing violates the U.S. Constitution, which doesn't allow states to enact laws that may place undue burdens on interstate commerce. This is interesting. It's not clear whether the suit will stand up in court, but it's safe to say there is precedence for states enacting tollways, even where it affects out of state residents. You see what I'm talking about? When you fuck with people, man, when you fuck with people in the wrong way, you don't do things that benefit people that are actually using your system, they're going to retaliate, you know? Because this is another point that I want to make. Me living in Texas, life is just way more simple. I don't have to worry about different states because I'm driving within Texas. I'm going to Houston, I'm going to Austin, from Dallas. So I don't have to cross state borders. So we don't have to even worry about that issue. Meanwhile, here, when I was living in New Jersey, if I want to go to DC, I'm crossing through Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, possibly Virginia now. So you're dealing with all these different rules and regulations. It's just so complicated. So for me personally, I just don't like it. I just don't like that. So this is an interesting perspective though, because people don't realize that a lot of people come in from New Jersey to New York. They always want to downplay New Jersey, but hey, Jersey City is right there. A lot of people live there. A lot of people from Rutgers, because I went to Rutgers, we all wanted to go to New York. We all wanted to work in New York as college grads, as young college professionals, up and coming professionals. That was, what we looked up to. But for me and for a lot of people, not anymore. I also want to share this article with you guys that ABC News provided where they kind of cover some of the MTA crime rates and whatnot. So, compared to previous year, 2024 saw drops in robberies, down 16.3%, and burglaries as well, down 23.5% in the transit system, according to NYPD data. However, murders on the subway doubled with 10 in 2024 compared to 5 in 2023. And shootings and petty larceny also increased year over year, according to the data. So obviously, this data is just based on NYPD data. I guess that's accurate, but basically, what they're trying to say here, and what Eric Adams is trying to say, which I don't think he's fit to be mayor, but that's a topic for another day. It is clear perception always overrides reality. When you look at some of the horrific incidents that the commissioner talked about in these last few days, the average New Yorker would believe that they're living in a city that is out of control. I actually agree with this point. So I can look up other articles, to see if this data is actually accurate, to see if what they're talking about, the crime rate is actually down, and the perception is that, hey, you know, this subway is dirty. This subway has crime in it, so we don't want to ride in it. Okay. I agree with the point that perception will override reality.